Good evening. Bob Lee back in the Sports Center newsroom. A few technical difficulties getting our signals out of Houston, Texas. We are working on that right now. And as soon as we reconnect up with Houston and the All-Star Roundup, we'll be getting back to Chris Berman and George Grant on the eve of this All-Star game, visiting with more than 1986 All-Stars and reminiscing about the great classic, looking at what happened today at batting practice, the home run hitting contest, and the city of Houston, the great dome, the eighth wonder of the world. Well, they'll be playing the game tomorrow night in Houston, Texas. We'll be getting back to Houston in just a second. Among the top stories making news today, though, the fact that the Maryland prosecutor announcing today that they will be issuing subpoenas to the individuals who were with Len Bias the night that he died. That is surprising because under Maryland law, individuals testifying before a drug grand jury are granted immunity. But the prosecutor did hasten to add the fact that the subpoenas were being drawn up does not mean they will indeed be served. Also today, news that the Maryland drug testing program on the campus at College Park may not have been the most effective. We have more on that now from Mike Buchanan.
A week from today, a grand jury will begin hearing testimony about the circumstances surrounding the death of Len Bias, a death caused by cocaine intoxication. Bias died 2 days after he was chosen by the Boston Celtics in the NBA draft. The grand jury will also examine the extent of drug abuse by other Maryland basketball players and the university's role in checking for drugs. Maryland, like other major colleges, has a drug testing program for athletes. Players are periodically checked through laboratory analysis of urine samples. It's a testing procedure that the NFL now also wants to use to test pro players. Prince George's County State's Attorney Arthur Marshall, who's directing the Bias investigation, says detectives have learned that players often beat the system.
We've been told, and apparently it's been somewhat confirmed, that there are all ways of getting around drug testing. We understand that drug testing is done on almost an appointment basis. It's not done on a random basis. It's not done under proper scrutiny. And there are other types of drugs that you can take with the drugs, which apparently do affect the results of the test itself.
Investigators say several players, prior to a scheduled drug test, were taking a diuretic, a root called Golden Seal. It comes in tablet or tea form.
Well, Golden Seal is a diuretic, basically. This apparently has been confirmed that it could have an effect if you took it in advance. We have been told that you could take Drano and put it under your fingernails and drop it into the specimen, and this has been confirmed, and I guess if you wanted to, you could have, and we've been told this has happened, somebody else's specimen be brought in and be taped to your sock, and if you're not watched carefully, you just use somebody else's specimen.
Authorities say they have information that while some coaches were strict about drug abuse, others turned their backs and ignored violations. Officials at the University of Maryland say there will be changes in the drug testing program and procedures. And sources say there could well be changes in the athletic department, personnel changes. It began 3 weeks ago as a death investigation. It's developed into what some are now calling Terrapin-gate. I'm Mike Buchanan, Eyewitness News.
And again, that grand jury will be hearing. The investigation begins 7 days from today, next Monday. Bob Lee again of the Sports Center newsroom. We apologize for those of you watching our ESPN All-Star Salute live from Houston, Texas. We're working on our technical problems on getting the signal out of Houston and off the satellite and back down into your home. As soon as we get that fixed up, we'll be getting right back down to Chris Berman and George Grant on the eve of the 1986 All-Star Game. I'll step aside for just a second as we come back working on our problems and back live to Houston, Texas. I'll be right back.
In sports, timing is everything, and the same goes for watching sports. If your timing is a little off,